So I think the only appropriate way to start off this reaction is by saying I really have not listened to all that much Buddy Guy. In fact, I've only ever heard him once before on the channel, and it was in the context of a few other great guitarists. And you know how those kind of performances are. It can be hard sometimes to disentangle what you're hearing from moment to moment, and everybody has to kind of take their turn, thereby shrinking the amount of time an individual plays. So today, thanks to Wendy the Radiant, we're going to be taking a deeper dive into the world of Buddy Guy. We've got 3 songs to check out. The first is We Go Back, the second is How Blues Is That, and the third, 6 Strings Down, will actually be performed by Jimmy Vaughan, so Stevie Ray Vaughan's brother, but also featuring Buddy Guy himself. And this was also part of a tribute performance to Stevie Ray Vaughan. I have a great love for SRV. I don't know if you guys saw any of my Stevie Ray Vaughan reactions on the channel, and the few that have been blocked, unfortunately, on my Patreon. I have a deep respect and love for Stevie Ray, and all of the players that play with Stevie Ray or tribute to Stevie Ray, I would hold them in extremely high regard as well. I know we've got names like Eric Clapton, B.B. King. There's a a long list, including Buddy Guy. So I'm super excited to check all this out today. But again, we need to thank Wendy the Radiant for making this generous donation request and the selections today. Thank you very much, my friend. Now, let's jump in. I'm ready to have my soul spoken to through the guitar.
Cup of coffee cost a nickel.
Okay. Okay.
Newspaper sold for a dime. $1 bought a pack of smoke.
Oh.
And a bottle of Mad Dog wine.
Wait, this is...
We go back, yeah, when the blues was everywhere.
Oh, his vocals.
We go back.
Oh my god, this is...
Fighting hard to
Yo,
get our share.
I love how soulful.
Times were bad.
What a warm
What a
voice he
time
has.
we had. We go back, way, way back.
On a balcony in Memphis, April of 1968.
And this is Mavis.
I never will forget what happened on that date. We go back when the blues were everywhere. We go back fighting to get our share. Time for band, but what a time we had. We go back,
Yo.
way, way, way back.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. Dude, chills all over.
I could see it in my mind.
Man, oh my god, I love it immediately. I was already like, dude, the guitar work is so pleasant. It is so bluesy, so well phrased. Every bit of it is tasty, right? And then he starts to sing, and there's a warmth and nostalgia in his voice. I love the soul. And then he flips it back to the guitar. There's this back and forth where, you know, there's like a rhythm guitar that's sort of like playing just like broad chords, which actually I think is, I don't know if it's a second guitar layer or if he's actually doing both at the same time, but regardless, when he's singing, there's like a sort of ambient guitar chord that usually underlies his singing, and then he follows it up with a beautiful phrase and then that back and forth happens. The introduction of then Mavis and her vocals, I love that there's like a bit of that like rasp, that grit that just feels like intrinsically emotional, like you're really bearing your soul out there. I that alone, like I already know the song is just a banger from start to finish, even though we're not even we're barely at the halfway point here. One more thing I was gonna say is maybe I'm just gonna forget what I'm gonna say. I'll bring it up later. Let's go back into this.
I could see it in my mind. I can still hear it in my ears.
Love this beat, bro.
The crying and the dying. The hell it took to get us here.
Wow.
We go back when the blues was everywhere. We go back,
Yeah,
go
dude.
back, go back, fighting to get our share. Time for bad, but what a time we had.
Wow,
We go back.
Mavis's voice is like is unlike most other voices you hear. It's just in that rasp, but I even feel like rasp is a bit reductive to describe this voice. I'll keep searching for the right vocabulary. One thing that I also really like about both of their vocals and lyricism actually is the fact that like we go back, it feels like these are like two friends, they're reminiscing on their shared experiences, and it's this back and forth where they are individuals and they have differing perspectives on that shared experience, and it kind of paints a broader picture of what those moments used to look like. Oh, tied with the blues, I am just fully hooked.
Time we had, we go back.
We go back. We go way, way back.
Yeah, dude.
I wanna go back to the hometown where my grandma was. Lived in the Magruder home, right on Highway 61. We had such a hard time, but we made it. We made it.
This is awesome.
We had faith in grace. We believed we could make it, and we did.
Dude, I'm sold. I'm sold on Buddy. I'm down.
Me back.
Back in the day,
For this to exist, like, we're gonna have
I
to.
remember when.
We're gonna have to have more Buddy on the channel.
Oh yeah, buddy, do you remember?
Wow, the literal conversation through this.
We go back.
Oh my god, my brain is through this music, man. Yeah. I love this song. I love how the vocals, they perfectly dance with the guitar work. And Buddy and Mavis have two very different vocals, but the way that they cover all bases, given their differences in this song, it's really, really nice. It feels very comprehensive in that regard. Also, like I was saying, with they're reminiscing, they're recounting their various perspectives on that past, and then we go back as that shared experience. When you hear the differences in the timbres of their voices as it relates to the guitar, there is a sort of interesting comparison you could make within the way that Buddy's voice and the guitar sounds like versus how Mavis's voice and the guitar sounds like. The, I guess, commonality between those two is the guitar. So if you presume for a moment that the guitar is just a separate element to Buddy and he's not playing it, then you just hold that constant and then get to feel the differences in their voices bear out more because the guitar is consistent. What I would have liked to have heard in this track would have been maybe like a moment or moments of harmony between the two where they're singing at the same time. I don't recall hearing a moment like that. There was more of a back and forth rather than anything simultaneous, but that I could only imagine like them singing together at the same time would go even crazier. Yeah, this is a great first start. Let's keep going. This is featuring Joe Walsh now. Oh. And we only heard Joe Walsh once before on the channel.
I'm from the backwoods,
like many moons ago.
Down south. Grew up living hands to mouth. One good shake was
that
all
tone.
I had. The heat went out when the cold got bad. How blues is that? Tell me how blues is that? Got a pawn shop loan, I can't pay it back. How blues is that?
Very blues.
Went to Chicago, tried to get a break. Had a lot of doors slammed in my.
It's so simple, the call and response with his vocals and the guitar. It's just like two notes that are bent up, they're blistering, they cut right through any of the mix, ascending to the top of our of our perception. I'm losing all my words right now. It's so good. It's such a smart thing to do, to make that guitar so simple, but let the tone speak for itself. Let the intensity of the way it's played, its volume, speak louder than the actual complexity in what's being played as the response, because then it gives you so much room to grow in the sections where it's going to be, let's say, primarily guitar. And right now, the focus technically is on the intensity of Buddy's vocals and his pep in his step, rather than the guitar. But then the guitar matches the energy in a simple way.
Slammed in my face, sang on the corner, poured out my heart, picked up my change, even slept out in the park. How blues is that? Woo! Tell me how blues is that? Got a pawn shop loan, can't pay it back. How blues is that?
Just melts into your brain, man.
My kind of people are the people I meet, making just enough money to stay alive. Playing the blues, trying to survive. How blues is that? How blues is that?
God, Lord have the most sincerest mercy on me. I cannot believe I cannot believe how good this is. I loved the intensity in this track through and through. I heard it in his voice earlier on, then the guitar started emulating it in its simple fashion as it was, and then it grew, it built, and you had that kind of like cascading ragtime piano feel, that like diner back in, I don't know what decade it would be, like the 70s or 80s. I don't know. Don't take me to court on this one, but I love all of the vibe. It almost feels like it's collapsing into itself, but at the same time, the structure it's like maintained. So it's almost like there's a bounce to it despite it still being structured. I mean, it's not that being bouncy doesn't allow a song to have structure. It's just, it's not as rigid as it could be. You know what I mean? And I like that. I like that there's fluidity to it. It almost reminds me, and I don't have the concepts very clear in my mind, but I'll try to explain anyways. Some buildings, they are built to maintain flexibility despite very adverse weather conditions. So somehow within them, there's like, I've seen this like in nuclear bunkers, there will be like massive shock absorbers, and they're elevated off of the actual true floor, and there's separated space between the structure and the nearby like underground, whatever it may be, all in an effort to withstand massive destructive forces, whether it's like another nuclear blast or massive earthquakes or tsunamis. The structure of the building, it is there. You can see it abstractly, but when you look at the fine details, there is enough, let's call it wiggle room, to still maneuver and add your, let's say, artistic touch that holds it all together. That's not actually the direction I was thinking of taking this commentary, but actually I think it works remarkably well in this track. And bro, the guitar work, when it starts taking over your brain, when it starts taking over the mix, there's just no going back, no thoughts left in my brain at that point. You're just purely experiencing. Like I said, we definitely need more Buddy Guy on the channel. This is too good. I loved that. Let's check out the last track of the day. This is going to be Jimmy Vaughan's 6 Strings Down. I hopefully will be able to identify where Buddy is going to be playing, but we've got a lot of heavy hitters. We've got Jimmy Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Bonnie Raitt, Robert Cray, B.B. King. Just looking at the description here. Let's see if you see it. Yeah. Robert Cray, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Dr. John, Art Neville. That's just the star-studded lineup. Let's see what they got. I think this is going to be Jimmy singing.
Gotta pick a strap, get on his back, ain't gonna cut the angels no slack. Heaven done called another blue stringer back home. See the voodoo child holding out his hand. I've been waiting on you, brother.
The voodoo child.
Welcome to the band. Good news stringing, heaven fine singing. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph been listening to them playing. Heaven done called.
Wow.
Another blues.
You hear all the voices.
Lord, there you go. Another blues stringer back home.
I can hear Bonnie out of all of that, clearly. I don't know how to describe this feeling, but it's like all of these guitars, all of the leads and the vocals, just every bit of this, because it's very complex. I can't like tease apart some of the instruments from the other. I feel like it's all just meant to convey the sound together rather than relying on any one instrument. From moment to moment, of course, we get one being the dominant, being in the spotlight. But I'm sort of reminded of like if you have, let's say, a wall, and it's like a white wall, and you have like a blue paint bucket. It doesn't have to be blue, just the color that contrasts with the white, and you just at the very top of it throw the paint, and now you just watch all of the paint trickle down to the bottom, and the way that it all flows, it's very natural. Gravity just helps bring it down, and by the end of it, well, you'll have a big splotch kind of at the top, and you'll see all of the tendrils, all of the trickles down, and that's just the composition of the song. It just feels like it's all meant to be, hey, here's your big vision at the top. This is the color we're going to use to color this wall. Find the spaces. Make this as natural feeling as possible. That, to me, is one of the telltale signs that we're dealing with just experts at what they do. Because there's not necessarily a full, again, defined structure. You just take the vision and go with it.
Up there, put it lightning too. Albert King and Freddie playing the blues. T-Bone, Guitar Slim, Nelson Jackson, and Frankie Lee Sam. Never done call another blues stringer back home. Stringer back home. Lord, there you go. Another blues stringer back home.
God, bro. Oh my God, dude. Wow, dude.
Another blues singer.
Oh my gosh, that was such a flurry of guitar towards the end there. again, like just all of these different like tendrils of that paint bucket all falling in different ways, all coming from that same source, but in an effort to paint the wall, right? There's that common goal. I would love so much if, I don't know if this exists, because it, with live performances like this, it can be especially hard to denote who is doing what part, especially if there's no visual accompanied with it. But I would love to see, if it exists, charts or tabs of what each of the players are up to, because you can hear what one player is doing, and then another will find his way into the melody, and then another, and then they will kind of like asynchronously add new layers to the cascading, evolving solo. And despite there being a sort of like lead guitar tone that is a little bit louder and more pronounced in the mix, you can still find moments where the baton is shifted and another player, at least momentarily, takes center stage. I think that level of coordination can only be achieved, again, with this level of expertise, and I love that it's all imbued with this love. And again, it's a tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan. That man, so eclectic and talented in his style, really genre defining and then bending and breaking. He's so good at what he does and did. And now all of these other great guitarists and vocalists in their own right, songwriters, they do it all. They take a stab at attributing Stevie Ray, and all together when they sing, it just feels, one, so harmonious, and two, extremely powerful and resonant, three, cathartic. I mean, doesn't it just feel so amazing when everybody comes together in unison for the common love of something or someone? Gives me chills thinking about it, feeling it. I can hear it through their singing, I can feel it in their playing, and to me this just excites me more for music in general, and maybe even more specifically for Buddy Guy. But honestly, I loved what I heard from Buddy today. I would take more Buddy requests, or requests for any of the other artists on this list. We have Jimmy Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Bonnie Raitt, BB King. There's so many amazing artists who we have to experience together. So if you are interested in making a reaction request, you can do so by clicking the first link down below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Camera doesn't want to have a good day, but let me turn it back on. Have a wonderful rest of your day, my friends. Take care and peace.